Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was the legendary Uchiha X Namikaze. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto had the ultimate nature bloodline over on Anime King 3, and I enjoyed that guys. And I also posted a brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was a Hope of the Uchiha Clan. So go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. And remember if you're new to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, would you say begin this new episode start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, Naruto lost it as he faced off against Han. As Naruto started to sprout wooden vines from the ground, but he was unaware that he was doing this. His Sharingan had activated as Han realized that the boy had activated the Mokiton and Sharingan at the same time. As Han summoned clones, as Naruto ruthlessly took them down one after another as he was going in for the kill, but his body was still weakened from previous encounter. As Han used the opportunity to beat the crap out of him and tell him, know that he's alone, there's nothing that he can do. When Naruto woke up back, he was hanging from upside down of a tree, as all of them were hanging there, as Han told them that he was gonna kill them. As there was nothing that he can do about it, they were trapped, they were caught, and there was nothing he could do. Unless he told Mikasa to kill the others and he would let Naruto survive. As Mikasa gripped the kunai, but her hand was trembling as she said no, she wouldn't kill any of her friends, so she threw it towards Han, who caught it. The man smirked as he dispelled the genjutsu that they were under, with their senses so riled up they didn't even notice. As the man told him that this world is a really harsh place, and if they got captured by the enemy they were done, because it would put them through worse hell than this. As they all, right there, learned a very valuable lesson. 4 years passed after that, as Han has been training them ever since, as they were his best graduating cadets. Armin and Rengoku was a part of it as well, and the others, cadets and the others. As they all had their specialty, they all had their unit where they excel in. But today was a day, as war, it was getting more hot out there. There was a force coming and they had to stop it. Just 120 Blacklight members against the thousands of ninjas coming, and they had to stop it, as Naruto put himself up to be on the front lines. Mikasa wanted to be there with him, but he told her to steal her emotions now, as she had to focus on the task ahead. Despite she wanted to be at his side, she decided to focus on that, as a certain pair of eyes were also watching them as well. As Naruto went to visit Mikasa later, when he was certain, he knew that she, despite what she said, would try to save him if anything happened, because out there would be bloody. He ended up activating the Sharingan as he placed her under a genjutsu, as he put a 3-pronged kunai in her pocket. So with that, Naruto took note as he arrived at the armory, where he met his commander there, a woman, Owl, as he met the others there, Hawk, the first one to greet him. As Naruto saw Han coming, as Han told him what to do, as Naruto would be a part of the jumping force. As they were 10,000 feet up in the air, the bombing squads were riding on birds, but Naruto's squad was a lot higher. As coming down, Naruto took them all out rather quick. Owl was shocked because she didn't see what he did, as when he landed, she told him to explain, as Naruto told him what he did, but it was because of his speed, as she wanted to ask him if he was, well, the son of Namikaze. As they gained more respect for him now, seeing that he was that man's son, the Hokage's son. They heard about him in the ranks, but it seems like he was more efficient than they thought. As they made their way, they set up the traps as everything was prepared. The troops then came as it was a slaughter at the beginning, as Naruto took down hundreds of ninja with a kunai launcher as they were pierced. The screams, the terrifying screams could be heard. Chaos was everywhere, destruction. But then something happened as kunais, explosive tags rained from the air. Something was off, as they had to move, as the place started to get ripped apart. Chains came from the ground as a kunai landed beside them. They were going to be blown to pieces, but Naruto watched The first man that greeted them when he arrived here jumped on the kuna as his body exploded. As he saved their life, all of them from being blown to smithereens. They then saw who was doing all of this. As they saw Sakamo Hatake and Mito Uzumaki, they were shocked. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place, check out for stuff, so to be in new episode. Sakamo Hatake said Hawk in shock. Mito Uzumaki, Hisuna said in fear as she tried to break the chains, but she could not. The two legendary shinobis were standing in front of the army. Hisuna didn't know what was going on, but she could not let such vital information be unknown by her superiors. She looked at Naruto. He was a goner. The young kid had just seen. Hell, two of his comrades died right in front of him. His mind, he wasn't even focused on anything around him. As she looked over, she saw Hawk. He was struggling, but he was fit to run. I won't let any more of them die, she said. With great struggles, she raised her hands. The next moment, the chains released Hawk and Naruto, as Hisuna was controlling the legendary shinobis with her clan jutsu. But she was trembling. Get out of here, she said. I'll hold them off. Give this information to the commander, Fox. Now, she said. As she felt Mito breaking out of her control. Combined that with Sakamo trying to break control as well, she had to use all of her chakra to hold them tight. But their strength was just beyond anything. As Naruto couldn't let this happen. We can't leave you behind. She smiled as she saw the affections in the boy's heart. He was too young, someday he will understand why she had to do this. Hawk, she said. Hawk nodded as he grabbed Naruto despite his struggle. It was an honor to fight beside you, Captain, Hawk said, as he fired off with Naruto in his hands. Hawk, what the hell are you doing? Naruto screamed. Let me go. But Hawk did not listen to him. He just continued to move away from Hisuna. As Hisuna mounted a few words to Naruto, as she was impaled by several stone shinobis, as they kept on stabbing her to bring her down to her knees. They laughed while they did it. As she dropped something on the ground, a roll of explosive notes. The explosion was massive as it wiped them all out that was there, that surrounded her. They were blown to smithereens. As Naruto was raging, tears flew from his eyes. As Hawk felt something tremendous froze him as he landed on a tree. He realized that it was coming from Naruto. I'll kill you, he said, as Naruto's eyes looked over all the stone shinobis. I'll wipe every single last one of you off the face of this earth. He screamed in rage to all of them. And that was the day an Avenger was born. Time skip. Why? Blood was leaking from his palm because he was squeezing them so tight. Why did she have to die? He would never see any of them again. Hawk, why did you leave her behind, said Naruto, as he just needed the answer from the man. It was the only choice. It was her, or all three of us. She sacrificed herself so that we could escape. As Naruto got out of the man's grip, as they were on the ground. Naruto tried to punch Hawk, but Hawk caught his fist. We don't leave comrades to die, why couldn't we save her? Because you were afraid, said Hawk. As those words shook Naruto to his core. As Hawk was right, he was afraid. And his fear had slowed the squad. I was not strong enough to protect my comrades, Hawk said, painfully. As Naruto realized that the man was right. They were responsible for the death of their comrades. Because of them, Hisuna, Bird, Eagle, they were gone. If I had been more faster, they wouldn't have to come back to save us. And they wouldn't have died. It's my fault, said Naruto. Hawk grabbed him by the shoulder and looked him directly in the eyes. Naruto, this world is full of lie and deception. As long as there's love, there's hatred. Hisuna gave her life to protect her country and her comrades. There will come a time when we will have to do the same, Hawk said. He was quite tired for running for 30 minutes now. The gas in his 3D gear had run out. And running so long on this hill was no joke at all. The pursuers were regrouping their forces, so they had time to take a breath. Can this ever end? What should I do, said Naruto. Use your hatred and become stronger. Hatred will keep you going. Till today you did not hate stone shinobis, but look what they did to Hisuna and the others. They start this unnecessary war against Konoha, and so many of our brothers died. It's unforgivable. So use that hatred of yours to destroy your enemy, Hawk said. As a look in Naruto's eyes changed. I swear I'll make them pay for what they did. I hate them. I hate every single one of them. As Hawk saw the look in Naruto's eyes. What he didn't saw though was the way that Naruto's eyes set. His Sharingan was not activated, but the look in his eyes were broken. Like his whole faith in this torn world was just destroyed. Like his mindset has been completely changed. They were interrupted when two birds landed, as Armin and Rinjaku run towards them. Orinjuku rushed forward as she saw Naruto's condition. His entire body was covered in blood. Just what the hell happened back there? She ran forward. Before he could react, she hugged him tightly as a few tears slipped from her eyes. "Seen him alive," Orinjuku said Naruto. The feeling of her hugging him felt warm and kind. "Are you two alright?" asked Armin asked worriedly, as Naruto hugged Orinjuku back. "What are you two doing here?" "You're supposed to provide ear support for the garrison force," Hawk said. "We were sent to rescue our squad by Commander Fox. He figured that you guys would need it, considering the last information that Naruto gave him." Orinjuku broke the hug as she took off Naruto's mask, and what she saw in his eyes was hatred, the unending hatred that killed those enemies. As she had a thought of what happened. "Where is the rest of the squad?" she said, as she saw the rage once again, in its purest form. "They're gone, those bastards. They killed them. And I'm gonna make sure to kill every last one of them," said Naruto. "I'm sorry," she said. "I know you must be in pain, but you should not let so much hatred remain inside yourself." Orinjuku said seriously, as she saw a betrayed look in his eyes. "You don't understand. I was naive. I thought I could change this world, protect my comrades, and look, where that thought of thinking got me." As Orinjuku started to heal the wound in his back. "This was not your fault, your squad. They gave their lives so that you guys could be protected." As Naruto remembered Hisona's last words. "Don't give up." Even Hisona wanted to do the same thing, to not give up. But the thought of those bastards stabbing her, forcing her down to the ground, it brought rage back in his heart. She placed a hand on his cheek. "Never forget the memories that you shared with them once they were alive. If you do that, the hatred will consume you and take everything away." As Naruto remembered his first time meeting all of them, despite short and brief, Hisona and him had really bonded, and Bird had spoken to him out of the blue when he just came there. After all, they were brothers now, to fight and protect the village to the end. As Naruto looked towards Orinjuku, not even Mikasa was able to see so deep within his heart. Why did he matter so much to Orinjuku? "I miss them," said Naruto. "You still have friends to help you fill the hole in your heart. As long as we're here, you will never be alone," she said. As she saw Naruto reach up and remove the face mask. What are you doing?" As one of her wishes were fulfilled. As she saw what he looked like under the face mask. "Thank you," he said, with a smile on his face. She jumped on him and hugged him back. "I love you," she thought in her mind, hoping that one day they could actually be together. As Armin smiled, seeing Naruto smile. But Hawk, he saw something different. Naruto was good at playing the role that was given upon him, but he saw the look in the boy's eyes. That smile was not a smile of happiness, sure. He was thankful for the girl, but her words did not get through to him. As Hawk saw it inside of the boy, a deep, festering hatred that was still burning brighter than before. His rage was not simmer. But in this upcoming war, they were going to need it. They were going to need to butcher their enemies. As Hawk was also pissed off. Time skip. "So that's what happened," said Han. As Naruto nodded, as Naruto just told him what happened back there. "But Commander, how could those two be alive? They died decades ago," said Naruto. "Edo Tensei," Han said. As Naruto got a little more confused. "It's a kenjutsu developed by the second Hokage that summoned the dead soul back to this world. And the caster can use that soul to do his bidding. A dangerous thing about this jutsu is, they cannot be defeated. No matter how much you cut them down, if you blow their body to pieces, they will reform over and over again. The only way to stop them is by sealing them," Han said. Minato had warned him and the other commanders about this. The reports of the Edo Tensei did not appear. This was the first sighting. Sakumo and Mito. Damn Orochimaru. "Who is controlling these people?" Han asked. "Orochimaru. Then we'll kill him and stop this jutsu," Naruto said. Han shook his head in the negative. "Killing the caster will not stop the jutsu. We'll have to seal them," and Naruto. "I'll be needing your help," Han said seriously. "I may be strong," said Naruto, "but I'm no match for those two. I won't be much help." "That's where you're wrong. Sakumo is a great fire style user, while Mito is a great water style user. That is what the record said. I'm a wind style user, and I might be on par in kenjutsu with Sakumo, but I can't stand his fire nature. That is where your role will come in." As Naruto understood that plan rather quickly. "You want me to keep them at bay in my water style ninjutsu until the rest of the forces come, and then trap them in my Mokitan so that you can see them away," said Naruto. "You have become a lot more sharp," said Han, with a smile on his face. "If they want to use force to destroy us, then I'll use my hatred to wipe every single last one of them from this earth," said Naruto. "Then what was that with Rainjutsu back then?" asked Hawk. "If she's worried about me, she will not focus on the battlefield, and I can't afford that to happen," said Naruto. as Naruto was still burning with the hatred inside him. Hisuna was the first person to welcome him despite being a rookie. She was his commander, she could have ordered him around and be a complete jerk, but she welcomed him inside, and the others were all so nice as well. Even if the time he spent with her was short, he did cherish it very much, and he never had to see any of his comrades die in front of him like that. He thought that he would be ready, thought that he could do something to save their life, but yet, he watched them die. I'll murder every single last one of them, Naruto thought, as Han watched him carefully. Han had seen the boy H at the Valley of the End when the both of them had fought, and still being so young, his strength was immense. And if his first encounter did this to him, what would this war do to him overall? Time skip. In the park of Konoha was a boy, as he walked with his hand behind his back. He didn't know why there was so much chaos in the world. 5 years knowing the war had still not ended. He was now 11 years old, and he was studying in the academy. He saw many of his seniors headed to the war, but he was never sent to the front. He even requested to his father that he should join, but his request was denied. Konoha was sending many of the shinobis, but not his generation. You are far too young. In case of an attack on the village, we will need you and the rest of the academy students' help. That was what the captain of the police force told him, but Itachi knew that was not the truth. He hated this war. His family was on the front line risking their life, and yet the war was still going on. 5 years now and people's out there dying over and over again. He took several deep breaths. I'll go mad if I keep on thinking like this, he thought to himself. As his sharp ears picked up crying, he made his way around the corner as he saw a boy, no more than 7 years old. He was crying, clutched onto a photo in his hand. He looked so familiar, a small scarf around his neck, a yellow shirt. He had dark brown hair, and black pants. Itachi stepped forward as the boy looked up. Why are you crying? Itachi asked, as the boy opened his arm as the photo had 2 people in it, with that same boy when he was younger in their arms. My mom and dad are dead, he said, as Itachi's heart broke hearing that. He sat alone beside the boy. What's your name? He asked. Konohamaru Sarutobi, he said. He's the 3rd grandson. So that means the 3rd. Eldest son and daughter has died in this war. As Itachi clenched his fist at that, Itachi placed a hand on his shoulder. You still have your grandfather and uncle. You will get through this. The boy looked towards him angrily. What do you know about my pain? He said. Have you ever lost your parents? Itachi sighed tiredly. He didn't know how to give a proper answer. No. I don't know your pain, but my parents and my big brother are fighting on the front line. It's been 5 years since I heard anything from my brother. I don't even know if he's alive. But what I do know is that they're fighting to give us a better future, just like your parents did. Konohamaru sniffled. Everyone close to him said that they knew how he felt, but this boy, he was different. Your parents gave their life for you because they love you more than anything in this world. Always remember how much they love you. Konohamaru gave a weak nod. Who do you love the most in your family? Asked Konohamaru. My big brother, said Itachi. Even more than your parents? Konohamaru said in shock. How could someone love someone else than their parents? Don't get me wrong, I love my parents deeply, but the one that truly understands me is my big brother. No matter how much I annoyed him in the past, he always stood by my side. Take blame for my mistakes. He was always there for me no matter what. Sometime I believe he went to war to protect me, so that I wouldn't have to face such a terrible thing, said Itachi, as he really missed his brother a lot. I wish I had a brother, said Konohamaru. And who said you didn't have a brother? You have the great, famous, genius Itachi Namikaze as your big brother from now on, Itachi said. The next moment, Itachi fell flat on the ground as Konohamaru tackled him, as he looked up towards the boy that was crying. Thank you, said Konohamaru, as Itachi patted his head gently. Big brother, Itachi thought. I'll help you create a world where we can all live peacefully. Time skip. It was pitch black. In a trench, 27 men stood battle ready, their hands firmly on their weapons. The moon had hid behind the dark clouds, as the ground was shaking violently. Hell was coming towards them. Han stood in front of them, the fox mask on his face, his sword strapped on his back. He glanced towards the 26 black-eyed soldiers behind him, and no matter the circumstances, he was glad to be fighting beside these soldiers. Men who he could trust, men who would die for their country, without any hesitation. He knew though, the entire army was gonna attack them. 27 versus 3,500. It was a terrible thing when you thought about it. This war has brought you here today, and it will define each and every one of you, Han said, as all of them looked towards him with respect in their eyes. You may be a brother, a son, a father, but tonight, you are a soldier. The enemy has given you war, and you accept it today, right here, right now. Each of you, stand and fight. Each of you are heroes. One way or another, we will not let the hidden stone Get this, hill, Han said. As the soldiers saw thousands of stone shinobis approaching them, they gripped their launchers and blades. Adrenaline rushed through their bodies. This was it. There will be no room for mistakes. Each of you must be willing to die to save this hill. One mistake and it's already over. I, Commander Fox, lead your first company. It was an honor serving with all of you, he said. The honor was ours, all of them said in unison. The enemy army came to the field and they saw them. Thousands of them with their weapons already bare, ready to kill them. Han unsheathed his sword. Expect no mercy. Show no mercy. As even the stone shinobis trembled a bit when they felt the dark, corrupted key spread towards them. Fight or die! The stone shinobis were shocked when a phoenix mass envoy dropped. He flashed through Einstein so fast they could barely keep up. Water style. Rampaging water! The ground shook as a 90 feet water wave rose up and rushed toward the stone shinobis. They were shaken to their core. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Such powerful jutsu. What the hell? There's no water source around. How the hell did he do that? As a few of them rushed through hand signs, earth style, mud wall jutsu. A massive earth wall was formed by hundreds of them to protect them from this massive colliding wave of water that threatened to decimate them. Earth style is stronger than water. You can't defeat us, an arrogant stone shinobi said. Crack. Their eyes widened when they heard cracking sound. Crack. They took a step back in fear when more cracks started to appear in the wall. Crack. They started to retreat. Boom, the wall exploded as a wave clashed into the first section of the army. As Mito's eyes widened when she saw the wave decimating the front line. Tobirama, is that you? Mito thought in shock. Only Tobirama she knew was capable of such a feat. This reminded me of Sekanokage, Sakumo thought. He didn't know what his force was, but these ninjas, they were good. They watched as a phoenix. He stood on top of the massive water wave that wasn't even moving. He stood there calmly as he flashed to another swan sign. Wood style. Tree bind, flourishing burial. The trees in the area started to change as they blind and buried the stone ninjas. Mito was shocked. She never dreamt of seeing this jutsu in her entire life again. Her husband was the only one capable of doing wood style, but this boy had performed both Mokiton and water jutsu like Tobirama. That left only one possibility. He was a descendant of possibly Hoshirama or Tobirama. He first crushed the ground with water attack, and when the soil got wet, he used his wood style. Impressive, thought Sakumo. The entire Blacklight platoon then leaped forward as Han created 8 clones and the Blacklight members stood beside them as they flashed through hand sign. Wind style. Great wind breakthrough. Tornado tunnel jutsu. Gale wind palm. Wind cutter. As numbers of wind style jutsus were launched, followed by numbers of earth jutsus, numbers of fire jutsus, and lightning as well. It was chaos in the finest word. The stone shinobi's screams echoed through the entire valley as the shinobis were being decimated. Troopers, kill them all, Han said as they pulled out their kunai launchers. As they were launched, it was thousands of them within seconds. The stone shinobi eyes went wide as they were mercilessly cut down after another. In a matter of minutes, 400 stone shinobis were already dead. First squad, second squad, charge! As the black light leaped to devastate the forces. But Naruto's eyes widened as he felt something. Wait, he said, but it was too late. Fire style. Great annihilation jutsu. A tsunami of fire was sent towards the advancing Blacklight troopers, and it hit them. Screams of pain and agony could be heard as Naruto yelled no as he was 14 of his comrades turned into dust. He pulled his tongue to run forward, but a hand stopped him. As Han shook his head, "They're here," he said. As Mito and Sakumo stopped right in front of them. Sakumo's eyes were hollow and he was standing still. It was like he was being completely controlled like a puppet. As Naruto noticed Mito's eyes, nothing but sadness as she looked around the bodies. Troopers, you have fought well. Go and hold off the stone forces to your last breath. I and Naruto will handle these too, said Han. As he readied his sword, this was going to be the most dangerous battle of his life. But Commander, the Blacklight member said, but Han gave them a harsh glare. Those two shinobis are said to be stronger than the Sonian himself. Just look what Sakumo did with one attack. We have drawn them out, I give you my word. I'll stop them at all costs. Do your duty and prevent any stone shinobis from getting in between my battle, said Han. Hawk stepped forward and gave one final salute. We'll buy you guys as much time as possible, he said. Hey, next time, don't forget the steak and jugs. Hawk, as Naruto poked him on the forehead. I know, shithead, he said. Brothers, let's make the end rememberable, Han said. One by one, Naruto watched each of his comrades pass, but not before giving him a pat on the head. Don't shed any tears. If you truly want to remember their sacrifice, help me seal this Edo Tensei, said Han. That will be the greatest tribute you can offer to your fallen brothers. As Naruto watched Hawk and the others made their way into battle, as he nodded, as Naruto gripped his tanto, the next second though, a barrier rose up around him and Han, and it was the same for their enemies. As Naruto looked towards Han, it's a barrier to prevent any of them from entering into our battle. Even if our comrades fall, let's do what we were trained to do, Han said. But before they could do anything, Sakumo laughed. A dark, wicked chuckle as Mito looked towards him. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, young Naruto-kun, said Sakumo in a sick voice that sounded too sweet as his eyes looked towards Naruto with a keen, wicked glare. Han quickly noticed what was going on. Orochimaru, you traitor. You're a disgrace to mankind, summoning the dead for your atrocities. You're nothing but a lonely coward, Han said. As Naruto realized what was going on, but how did this Orochimaru know his identity? He was even wearing his mask. So the one that is controlling is Orochimaru. Is it the same Orochimaru that was Tsunade's teammate, Mito said. Yes, Mito-sama, but now he's Konoha. Biggest traitor, forgive me. I'll have to stop you here. Then stop us, Commander. We've already died once. And we don't want to be forced to kill any young kids, said Mito sadly. As Han nodded. Alright, let me get my hands on the little Senju over there, said Orochimaru speaking through Sakumo. Senju? Stop screwing with us, said Naruto. As Han and Mito connected the dots though. That explained why he has such control over water, and not to mention a Mokiton user. So Toka-chan survived. She was always the kind of person that keep a lot of secret, and so was Tobirama, said Mito. As she saw Naruto's eyes, Two told him Sharingan. Why do you want Naruto? Asked Han. He's a perfect vessel, and key to my plans. Do you really think I said these Edo Tensei to take this pathetic hill? So naive, Orochimaru said mockingly. He's a descendant of the Senju and Uchiha clan, Han thought, and he has inherited both of their traits. If he survives this war, one day he might become the most powerful shinobi in this world. No wonder why Orochimaru wants him, Han thought. Commander, I had enough of this bullshit. I'm Naruto, Namikaze. Let's do what we came to do, said Naruto. Han shifted into his stance, he was right. Orochimaru laughed. You're quite scary when you want to be, Naruto-kun, he said. Talking is done, said Naruto as he vanished in a quick flash. Sakumo pulled out his blade as he blocked the attack from behind him. The next instant, Chain burst from the ground underneath Naruto and grabbed his body, the lower half. It's over, Sakumo said seriously. Mito was quite surprised when the Sharingan in his eyes swirled, and the boy vanished once again. Toka, it seems your descendants are quite skilled in Genjutsu as well. Wind style, great wind breakthrough! A strong gust of wind blew them away, but the both of them flipped mid-air as they landed gracefully on their feet. Seems you're gonna be a pain in the ass, said Orochimaru, as Sakumo flashed through hand signs. Fire release, dragon flame release song. Technique, said Sakumo. Dragon heads were fired towards Han at incredible speed. Water release, water formation wall, said Naruto. Steam rose as the water collided with the fire. Han noticed Naruto rising from the ground, as he was quite surprised that Naruto had struck his opponents with Sharingan first. No less than what I expected from the grandson of Tobirama Senju, thought Orochimaru with a smirk. Naruto, remember they have unlimited chakra, so use your chakra carefully. I'll support you as best as I can, but I need to save my chakra for my jutsu that will seal them, said Han. Yes, Commander. How do you plan to seal them off? Han bit his lip. You'll see when time comes, he said. Keep on your guard. As Mito and Sakumo leap, as Naruto blocked the kick that slammed into his guard from Mito. He grabbed her leg, but she broke out of his hold and tried to kick him, but he ducked. He could see her attack with the Sharingan as he dodged back, as Han was facing off against Sakumo. You're strong, Naruto, Mito said with a smile, as she flashed through hand signs, but Naruto did the same thing. She was quite surprised, he did them perfectly. Water style, great water vortex technique, as the two water force collided and exploded outwards. He copied her perfectly, and that was not an easy job. He appeared in front of her and slashed, but she moved back, as a few of her hair got slashed off though. Prepare yourself, Mito-sama. I won't show you any mercy. Mito chuckled at hearing that. You remind me so much of Tobirama. He behaved the same way in a battle like you. Always focus. I am not a Senju. The sooner you accept that, the better it will be for both of us, said Naruto. As he flashed through hand signs so quickly, not even Mito could see what they were. Water style. Water Spire Wave. Mito's eyes widened when a water spear tore across her left arm as Naruto appeared and kicked her right in the face, launching her back. Phoenix Sage, fire technique. He's really fast, Mito thought, as several fireballs come towards her at immense speed. As she dodged, Naruto broke through the ground behind her as chains came from her body, forcing him to flick back. Why do you have a Sharingan? If this boy was indeed her grandnephew, the least she could do was talk to him and get to know more about him. As Naruto tried to sweep forward her leg, but she jumped and kicked him right in the face as he was thrown backwards, but he flipped and landed harshly on a tree. Damn, she hits hard, said Naruto as he massaged his face. Water style. Water dragon bullet technique. As Naruto moved as the tree was obliterated. Wood style. Wood locking wall. Mito leaped away as she had to dodge out of every one of the attacks that nearly grabbed onto her, as she used her chains to yank her away far. As she saw the boy was getting tired, using so much techniques, and not to mention, the Mokitan must take up a lot of chakra from him. You should retreat, but not before answering my question, she said. Because she did not even look tired, but he was running. He was running down. I can't retreat. Not before we seal both of you. My mother is a Uchiha. There you got your question answered. Damn it, I got separated from Commander, said Naruto. Mito was shocked, however. Hashikan, it seems our children had stopped their hatred for each other. Your sacrifice did not go in vain, she thought. Demon illusion. Tree binding death. She smiled as a tree erupted behind her and started to squeeze her to death. The next moment, Naruto emerged at the bark with his Tanto ready. Her chakra exploded out of her body violently and dispersed against Jutsu. But Naruto smirked. Vine whip, he said. Hundreds of vine whips grabbed her and pulled her down. And despite her strength, she could not get out. As Naruto dropped to one knee, he was sweating. It seems your chakra is almost finished, she said. Shut up, said Naruto. The way this woman was looking at him was giving him creeps. It was the way that her grandmother looked at their grandson when they want to tease them. Tobirama, he's the same as you. You always get riled up when you cannot keep up with Hashikan chakra, thought Mito with a nostalgic look on her face. You fought well. Now, seal me away quickly, she said. As Naruto felt a surge, all of his vine whip was blown away as Orochimaru took over her body. Do you know how much years I've been searching for you, Naruto-kun? Now I finally have you in my sights. Now be a good boy and surrender. I swear, I'll be kind to you. Are you gay? Said Naruto, as his sweat dropped. No, but I'd like to be. As Naruto stepped back a bit, where of this man? Commander, please come back quickly. There's a pedo after me, Naruto thought to himself. Meanwhile, the roar of a dog could be heard as Han trapped it away and burned it inside. Off his earth dome, as the thing poofed away, Sakumo had summoned a vicious dog that had tried to rip him apart. He then had to substitute as a hail of kunais and shurikens rained down where he was, as his clones were destroyed as well. He's strong as ever. I have to regroup with Naruto, Han thought to himself, as Han launched a hail of shuriken towards him and multiplied them into hundreds. But Sakumo deflected all of them, but that gave Han the chance he wanted as he flashed away towards Naruto's position. Meanwhile, Naruto was trying his best to defend himself against 5 of the clones of Mito that was attacking him relentlessly. To say that this woman was tough would be an underestimation. He had never faced someone like her in his entire life before. If not for a Sharingan to predict her moves, he'd have been done for a long time ago, as he destroyed one of them. But 2 other clones used a smoke as they got in front of him. 2 brutal kicks smashed into his chest. As he coughed blood, he was launched away as he broke into a tree. Damn it, Naruto cursed. Something's broken, he thought to himself. He then looked up as he saw her clones coming towards him. Water release. Water crusher. Shit, said Naruto as he got to his feet, but someone flashed in front of him and performed hand signs, earth style. Mud wall jutsu. A large earth wall was formed, but it did not shatter as a wave crashed against it, as it was none other than Han who pulled his fist back and smashed it into the wall as the debris flew towards the clones. Don't fall, Naruto, no matter what Han said, as he helped him back up to his feet. Commander, said Naruto. Let's end this battle, Han said. They're too strong, said Naruto as he looked towards his arm. His left arm was in bad condition, maybe broken. We can, believe in yourself. I'll show you the true power of Commander Fox of First Company. The words encouraged Naruto to get back to his feet and got himself ready. I'm ready, said Naruto, as Han smiled at that. Alright, let's go. As Sakumo and Han locked eyes, as Mito was stepping behind Sakumo. Fire style. Burning missiles, said Naruto as he spewed fire from his mouth in a large wall towards enemies. Sakumo and Mito flashed through hand signs though. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Water style, violent water colliding wave. The combined water and fire combined with Naruto technique and steam flew everywhere. Pathetic, Orochimaru thought. Wood style. underground root technique, he heard the voice. Sakumo and Mito was grabbed by the underground root that grabbed onto them tight as two figures blasted through the smoke at lightning speed. Han and his clone jumped in the air as they flashed through hand sign. Snake, boar, ram, rabbit, dog, rat, bird, horse, snake. The mist started to vanish as Naruto was surprised to see that Han had captured both of them, him and his clones. Commander, you... As Naruto then heard, Han said something. Demon. Containment ceiling. As Naruto was confused just what the hell was going on, Sakumo and Mito's eyes reverted back to normal. Forgive us, Commander. We're responsible for the death of your man. Mito gave Naruto a motherly smile. As he came beside them, thank you for releasing our souls, said Mito, kindly. As a seal appeared on Han's chest, Commander, what's happening? The mask on Han's face fell. He had a masculine face. Dark black hair. 30 to probably 35 years old. He had a small smile and a calm look in his eye. I use a forbidden kinjutsu taught to me by Minato-sama to seal them. They are free now, and they won't cause any more problems between us and our comrades. A kinjutsu? Said Naruto in shock. He knew such jutsu came at a very high price in such case. It resulted in death. Minato-sama taught me and 2 other companies of blacklight this jutsu. He knew something like this would happen since the stone army are not strong enough to break through our defenses, and Orochimaru will probably send the Edo Tensei to help them in this invasion. This jutsu seal away their souls into the belly of a Shinigami, including the caster. Why? Said Naruto. To protect Konoha and my students, Han said, as his smile increased as he looked towards Naruto. Then you should have let me do it, said Naruto. You're the commander. What will happen to us now? This requires years of training that you don't have. Besides, it's a teacher right to protect his student. And they have a good leader right in front of me, Han said. He's right. He did this to protect all of you. To save his comrades, he sacrificed everything, said Sakumo. Naruto-kun, I'm glad that we met. Don't get angry about the things. Compared to you, our pain will be instant. Take care of your comrades in Konoha. We leave the future to you. As his hand clenched as tears dropped from his eyes. Sakumo-sama, Han said. You are considered a hero in the village now. Your son, Kakashi, is carrying on your legacy. Sakumo's eyes widened in shock in hearing that. As he smiled, thank you, Kakashi, he said to himself. Naruto, please tell Kakashi sorry on my behalf. I knew I caused him a lot of pain, but tell him, I'll always be proud of him. As Naruto nodded weakly, it's time, said Han. Commander, said Naruto, how can I lead if I can't even save one of my comrades, Naruto said. Because you're the savior of this world. Instead of drowning yourself in hatred, use your power to change this world, said Han. Seal, as they gave him one final smile. As Sakumo and Mito's body dropped, replaced with 2 different people, as Naruto moved and caught Han, his body was cold, and he had a peaceful look on his face. As Naruto saw that he was surrounded by stone shinobis, and everywhere around him was the body of his fallen comrades. As the barrier had faded away after Han's clones moved away, Hawk, said Naruto, as he saw Hawk being hung from a tree. They were all dead. Let's capture this bastard. He must be valuable. Kill him. Due to him, we lost the Edo Tensei. As Naruto placed Han down jail and pulled up his tanto, the stone shinobi looked towards him with an amusing look. Give up, boy, your comrades are done. We'll cut you to pieces. You're all alone now, and you will die. The next instant, a large amount of explosion went off, blowing stone shinobis to pieces. As smoke filled the area, someone landed beside him and grabbed him firmly. As Naruto looked up, Mikasa, how? He put a genjutsu on her. I won't leave you behind, and I keep my promises, she said as she forced him on his feet. Come on, lovebirds. We're in a hot zone, said a voice behind him. You can kiss him later, Mikasa, a teasing voice said. As Naruto turned to see Kotetsu, Izumo, Armin, and Rainjutsu standing there. You guys, said Naruto, as they had a few birds. We fight together, we die together, said Mikasa. Let's get out of here. Commander, said Naruto. You didn't die in vain, I swear. I'll protect them, he said. Time skip. The 4th Hokage was said to be a feared man in the entire world. His enemies trembled at just his name. He was so fast, he could slaughter 1,000 within minutes. It was due to that ability why Konoha was still standing. Because of his intellect, his prowess of being a Hokage, it seems like it ran in the family. After all, the 2nd Hokage was a genius man. Hashirama might have the strength, but his mind was nowhere as smart as Tobirama, and that had passed down inside of Minato. Despite the heavy losses on their side, they were holding the enemy. Minato was in a dark room, his eyes fixed on the screen right in front of him. Around him was a few people that were unnecessary in this war. On his right was Baku, as stoic as ever, but if you look closer, you saw that he was trying his best to control his emotions. Baku, I'm sorry for your loss. After all, any father would be angry that their son fell in battle. The man just gave Minato a determined look. There is no need for any condolences. My son died in line of duty, defending his country and his comrades. And I am proud to be the father of Commander Fox, the first Company of Black Light, said Baku. No sadness, no regret. This man was a true shinobi. Minato doubted that he could be this calm if anything happened to any of his sons. He doubted that he could control himself. Minato, what should we do? The hill is soldierless. They will be butchered like dogs. Maybe we should send them reinforcements, said Snavi. I agree with her, those kids need help. I can divert my troops to them. They'll reach here in a few hours. The situation is urgent, said Kagami, as Minato gave them a nod. Beside Kagami was Danzo, who gave a firm nod to Baku for his son's demise, and the man accepted. What is the status of Hiru's company? Are they out of river country yet? Asked Danzo. Hiru's Sama is getting his men out, but it will take another 2 days for them to reach the hill, and they won't be in top condition. And we cannot send reinforcements on the 5th Division. We will need them for the invasion that we're planning against the Hidden Stone, said Minato. There won't be an invasion if we lose that hill. The entire company there will be wiped out, and the enemy will run straight into Konoha, Kagami said, a bit irritatedly. Baku stood from his seat and started to walk towards the stream. Everyone could see the remaining faces of those on the hill. You people don't understand the situation. Those out there, after Han's death, they're facing a grave challenge, an obstacle in their way that they must overcome. They have spent years training for this. If we rush in there now, and somehow we're able to win, Shanzi, hell, it will destroy my soldiers, said Baku. What do you mean, said Tsunade. Those soldiers out there are lost the will to fight. They have to change that. Even if some of them survive this battle, they will never have the confidence to fight back. If you send reinforcements, they will become dependent. The enemy fear Black Light because we're the best soldiers of Konoha. If you save them today, they will die tomorrow anyway. Let them win this battle on their own. There will be arguments, there will be fights. But if they win this battle, they will form a bond that cannot be broken. They will become invincible, said Baku. They need a good leader for that, which they don't have, said Danzo. You're wrong, Danzo. There are a few good leaders among them. This is a turning point in your life, but you will have to make a choice. If they will go out like winners, or die like cowards. It's time they stop being kids and become true shinobi, said Baku. Tsunade banged her fist on the table. You fool! Do you have any idea how many casualties they would suffer without aid from us? They're just kids. Your ideology will get them all slaughtered. Hokage-sama, I strongly urge you to send reinforcements, said Tsunade. I agree with her, said Kagami. I believe in what Baku said Danzo, as Kagami and Tsunade glared at him. Minato took a breath. It all came down to him. His gaze shifted down to the young Blacklight trooper and a small bird, and it all became clear for him, and he made his choice. Meanwhile, as Naruto and the others were flying back in a few hours, the stone would gather their forces, the remaining ones, and make a charge towards the garrison, and try to wipe them out. His eyes shifted towards Mikasa, who was at the front. She might look normal, but she was pissed. No, she was livid. As he heard a tired sigh beside him as he turned towards Armin, his friend gave him a disappointed look. Naruto, putting her under a genjutsu, their Sharingan, is one of the most stupidest things you ever did. So you know. You were successful to put her under genjutsu, but Aoba saw the fluctuation in her chakra. So your plan was foiled, said Armin briefly. As Naruto was curious at that, he knew Aoba was not the center. So how did he spot his genjutsu? As Armin saw the look on his face, Aoba's senses are far more sharper than most of us in Black Light, except for Hana's nose. In a way, he's a sensor, he just didn't tell anyone about it, said Armin. As Naruto understood, Naruto, Mikasa, is really mad right now. So it's best if you just talk business with her for some time, because you don't want to see how she acts when she's pissed. As Naruto nodded, how are the others doing at garrison? Is everything set, said Naruto. He promised that he would not let the hill be overrun, and he will fulfill that promise no matter what. Mikasa has made all the preparations, but what's on your mind, said Naruto as he looked towards Armin. Naruto, don't you understand? The commander is dead. We need a new leader. As Naruto remembered what Han said as he looked towards the others, Rainjutsu, Aizumo, Kotetsu, all of them looked towards him seriously. His gaze shifted towards Mikasa. She had her back turned to him, but she was listening. He appointed me as the next commander. Everyone's eyes widened, even saw Mikasa stiffen a bit. What? They said in unison. As Naruto clenched his fist and looked down, as tears started to fall from his eyes, Rainjutsu came over and hugged him fiercely. I shouldn't be here. My squads, My comrades, everyone fallen yet. I'm the only one. Every damn time, he said. He felt something grabbing him as he was lifted up, as he was being pulled up by Mikasa herself. What are you doing, Ranger-to said. As Naruto tried to get back on the bird, but Mikasa gripped him even tighter. Get him back on the bird. Don't be stupid, Mikasa, said Armin. He knew that he was pissed, but this was going way too far. As Naruto looked her directly in the eyes, he didn't flinch or anything. If you want to die, I will grant your wish right now. Hey, stop trying to kill him, said Kadetsu and Rainjutsu. They were both moving, but Aizumo stopped them. Do not interfere, he said, as he pushed them back down and planted his feet on them, stopped them from moving. I don't care about what you did to me, nor do I find you responsible for what happened to the Vanguard. You want to give up your life, and not accept the commander. Last wishes. Then, you're not fit to be leader. You should just die right here. I'll take the position, she said. Mikasa said Naruto as he looked towards her shocked. You think I care about you? I don't give a crap about you, she said. I only saved you because I want to become famous in the village. The Kunoichi that saved the Hokage's son. But look at you. You're not ready. You should have stayed home, hiding behind your mother like the coward that you are, she said. Don't do this, said Naruto. Not you. You're my friend. She had to keep herself focused. She could not break down. This had to be done, or he would die. All of them would. She threw him on the bird back down, as she started to walk away back to the front. As everyone felt it, the monstrous key as Mikasa stopped. Was everything a lie? Do you think I'm a weakling, that I can't protect my comrades, he said. She did not flinch though. Answer me, Naruto shouted. Yes, she said. Those words shook him. Did she really mean that? Did she really think that he was a weakling and a coward? As Aizumo saw everything though, he understood the reason behind her actions. She sacrificed everything to make you become strong. A true leader. As he looked at the others who was glaring at her, they did not understand. And she endured everything just for Naruto's sake. Time skip. As Genma and the others were waiting for the others to return, as they were waiting impatiently as the commander, no one had come back yet. As the others had went out, it's because of that damn Namikaze. Why do you care about him so much, Mikasa? Genma thought to himself. Beside him was Reido, Aoba, Hana, and Anko. They were supposed to guard the garrison until Mikasa and the others came back with the Namikaze and the commander. But Genma had a really bad feeling about this. Genma, what do you think happened back there? How the hell should I know? They could all be dead by now, said Genma. The next day he knew a kunai was placed right at his chest. Say that one more time, and you see what happens in Anko and Hana. Bring it on, he said. But Aoba stepped in. They're here, but I can only feel 6 of them. What's going on, said Aoba, as he was confused. Why only 6? This made no sense. Everyone gazed looked up towards the bird, descending from the sky. They watched 6 people jump down from the bird. Everyone was shocked. The commander wasn't amongst them. They only saw Mikasa, Renjutsu, Kadetsu, Aizumo, Armin, and Naruto. The young Namikaze looked like he has been through hell, and the cold look in his eyes. It kind of scared some of them. Namikaze, where's the rest of the Vanguard? Tenma asked. But deep in his heart he knew what happened. He could hardly tell. As Naruto saw the look on their faces, the fear, the anxiety, everything. They fall. In line of duty. The commander is dead, said Naruto. Many of them were in shock right now. Han was most powerful. And if he fall, what chance did they have? We were up against Edo Tensei. It was Sakumo Hatake and Mito Uzumaki, said Naruto. And the entire Stone Division. Genma grabbed Naruto by the collar. You're lying. The commander can't be dead. It can't be. Why were you the only one that survived? You must have fled off the battlefield, didn't you? We're all gonna die, some of them start to whisper. We need to run. There's no hope. Han was a pillar that was holding them together, and now to realize that he'd fallen. What were they gonna do? As Naruto looked towards them, as he gently placed a hand on Genma's shoulder, as the crowd started to quiet down. Everyone, the commander sealed those two, at the cost of his life. The rest of the Vanguard destroyed 1,000 stone shinobis before being overrun. What you're doing right now is understandable. I cannot bring them back, but what I can do is fight by your side. Don't you understand, Namikaze? We're outnumbered, outgunned. We cannot fight 3,000 shinobis alone. Who put you in charge, said Genma. It was Commander Fox's last order. And it's the only logical choice, said Armin. We need to fight and defend this hill no matter what. We cannot let the commander's sacrifice go in vain, said Aizumo. As Armin stepped beside Naruto. Come on, are you scared of those stone scum? 30 of us can kill 1,000 of them. The 90 of us can send them back to hell, said Kitetsu. As long as we're together, we can win. I believe in Naruto and all of my comrades, Rainjutsu said, as she stepped beside Naruto. Everyone looked towards Mikasa, and she felt alone. Even Armin was not by her side, and she felt miserable. She had strength in her to resolve, but she destroyed everything that she had with him, and now she was alone. She was quite surprised when someone hugged her, as she looked up to see that it was Naruto, as he kissed her on her cheek. It's alright, he said. Those 2 words shook her, as her eyes started to become moist. Thank you for everything, for saving me, for being my first friend, for watching my back all these years, helping me, guiding me, holding me. You were there for me at all the steps, and I will never abandon you, just like you never abandoned me, said Naruto. Naruto, she said in shock. You may be a bit harsh. Some of your ways are strange, but you always care for all of us, despite me being a dumbass. You always stood by my side. You don't need to lie, said Naruto, as she hugged him more tighter. I'm sorry, she said. I'm sorry for doing that to you. Shh. I won't lie to you. What you said back there broke my heart. But you also made me realize I need to stop crying and follow through with the commander's last wish. And I can't do that without you. I need you by my side, he said. Well, she wouldn't be Mikasa if she didn't do something like that to Armin, as he had a smile on his face. Yeah, she's a badass, said Kotetsu. Dumbass, you would still think that she was an enemy if I didn't explain why she did it, said Aizumo, as everyone laughed at the embarrassing look on Kotetsu's face, as Rainjutsu gave her a smile, as the belief was back, and they were all ready. As Naruto clenched his fists, he will protect them all, no matter what, as his Sharingan sprang to life and started to swirl. But guys, it'll be end episode right here. If you want the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.